Hi everyone, and welcome to the first episode of the Cabblow Studios Business of Animation podcast. My name is Cabblow Maka and I am your host. Let's get into it. Okay, so for today's topic, I wanted to talk about, actually the title of it is Why Start an Animation Business? And then in brackets I wrote, instead of going freelance. And I'll tell you why. Here's the easy answer. Because I'm not trying to be unemployed. That's the easy answer. That's the easy answer. I started the animation business because I did not want to fall under the statistic that a lot of young South African people fall under, and that's one of being unemployed. The last time I checked, the unemployment rate for young South Africans, so people who are young adults who should be in the workforce, is 50%. That means 50% of the people who should be working who are young aren't, and that's for various reasons which we can look up. And what will be nice is if I can find the stats, I'll put them from Stats South Africa. I'll put them into the description, wherever descriptions sit on podcasts. But that was the simple reason. I didn't want to be unemployed. But I'll give you but here's the longer reason. When I was in university, in 2015, I was in my third year of university, and I remember distinctly feeling like, oh my gosh, I'm not ready. I'm not ready for the industry. And that was for various reasons. Skill-wise, I just felt like I could improve just as an animator in general. Work-wise, I wasn't sure if I had what it takes to be an employed animator and to be in the working environment. I remember feeling so unready. And of course, I had two major projects in my third year. The one was great and the one was a flop. And the one, it wasn't so disastrous, but it felt like a flop at the time. And I didn't have much confidence in myself because of that. And so that added to those feelings of fear. So I decided to do another year, to do an honors year. The other reason for that was it's a strategic choice. If I have to, for example, if I wanted to go overseas to do a master's degree, sorry that I'm just going into education, it will come back full circle. The story will come back full circle. But I decided to do my fourth year of university because I knew that if I wanted to go and do a master's of fine art and obviously major in animation overseas at some highly established universities, like Cal Arts or the Animation Workshop or Gobela, l'École de l'Image, I would need a 4-year degree, and the degree that I had was a 3-year degree. The other reason that I decided to do the 4th year of my degree is because a bunch of different job applications and internship applications fell through. One was for a major broadcast company here in South Africa. I managed to land an interview with them. It didn't work out with them. And the reasoning that they gave was that I was too focused on animation. I didn't know who the industry players were from their perspective. So they focus solely on live action content, and in general in South Africa, broadcasters don't really commission animated content, to be honest. I was not a good fit for them. That hurt my feelings, but in retrospect, it's a reasonable answer because I don't do live action, I do animation. And so I know who does animation. I don't always keep up with the people who do live action, and that's okay. After those sorts of opportunities fell through, I decided to continue into the 4th year. That was the hardest year of my university days, because in that year I managed to land a different internship, and one that was better suited for me. It was an animation internship with the National Film and Video Foundation. And just on this topic of why did I start an animation business instead of going freelance, part of it was this experience with this animation internship. So I was an intern for 10 months. I was a 4th year animation student. Mind you, I was the only 4th year animation student, and the university that I went to hadn't had a 4th year animation student in about 9 years. So I was pretty much a guinea pig. And I remember my mother and I met with the head of the department, of the 4th year department, and we laid out our strategy to her about the things that I wanted to learn. And I remember one of the things I wanted to learn was about the business side of animation, because I needed to know how to make money as an animator. I'd been following a lot of YouTubers who, like Franerd. I love Franerd, Juicy Ink, Mary Doodles, a bunch of different YouTubers. Oh yeah, Draw with Jazza. A bunch of different YouTubers who managed to turn their creativity into these independent careers. And I actually thought I was gonna become like a YouTuber, which I haven't. I haven't gone that route, but that is what I was thinking about when I told this head of department that I wanted to do. Sorry, I'm getting tongue-tied. I wanted to learn more about the business of animation. Anyway, I remember being convinced that doing an internship was part of the 4th year program. Like, you had to do an internship. I remember reading it somewhere maybe on the prospectus, or maybe on the guidelines or the credits for the year or something like that. And I remember this head of department actually said, no, you don't have to do that. It's actually more of a privilege. But I think, just word of advice, if you are studying, it's such a good idea to do some kind of work or internship or freelance work while you're studying, because I feel like that's the only time where it's acceptable to work for lower amounts, or even to work for free or exposure. And even then, I don't agree with working for free or for exposure, but I feel like in university, that's the only time when it's acceptable, because you are working for the sake of honing in on your skill. All other times is not acceptable. That might have been a spicy statement, but it's fine. I've said it. I went through this 10-month internship where I was with a host company. So how the internship worked with the National Film and Video Foundation, so NFVF for short, they placed all of their different interns at various host companies, and then the host companies facilitated the internship, giving the interns whatever task that they were given. And then every 3 months or so, we would meet back together as all the interns, regroup with the people leading us at the NFVF, and attend their kind of skills development, professional development classes, which I found to be the most valuable, which is kind of what I want to do with my podcast, make it something that helps people professionally. So that internship, I ended up doing a lot of motion graphics work. Let me give an example. So logo animation, text animation, somebody is talking about coffee, and then an illustrated icon of coffee pops up on screen, things that slide in and out, things that kind of trace in on the screen. So it's not character animation, which is what I do. And character animation has to do with probably a lot of what me and you as audience, what we loved growing up. So things where we see characters performing, giving emotion, interacting. So, Powerpuff Girls, Spirited Away, Cinderella, those are all characters. Actually, Spirited Away is not a character. That's a movie. Chihiro is the character. Anyway. So I did a lot of motion graphics work, and I truly appreciate that internship because I was able to learn After Effects through it. But that's yeah. So I ended up doing a lot of motion graphics work instead of character animation, and character animation is what I want to do. So that's also another motivation for why I started my animation business. Once that internship ended, the host company where I was at didn't hire me. I did not get hired by my host company. But to be honest, that wasn't disappointing because motion graphics work is not what I wanted to do. I wanted to tell stories. I wanted to do character animation. And I was okay with not being hired. And I remember the time when I decided to register my company. I think I was just about to graduate. The internship ended in January, February of 2017, and then my graduation ceremony was in March of 2017. And as that internship ended, I was like, well, I have a dream to do my own stories and my own stuff. I might as well register a company. And I did. It was not that expensive, to be honest. And I will talk about how to register a company in South Africa and the cost of it and the process of it. It was actually really simple. I'll talk about that in another podcast. But I did. So I registered my company because I was like, well, I want to do this thing. I thought I would do it much, much later. Why not just do it now? Because I'm not trying to be unemployed. And so then I registered my company, Cabblow Studios. It was very slow at the start. I got little jobs here and there, doing invitations for people, doing a lot of stuff for my family and charging them, doing small animation jobs here and there, some positive, some negative experiences, trying out YouTube, and then eventually really kicking things off the ground in 2018 by partnering with my mother, who's a medical doctor, and then creating medical animation, which is what we do at Cabblow Studios, and we are good at it. Let's kind of wrap all of this up because I feel like I've been talking for so long. The reason why I decided to start an animation business, plain and simple, is because I did not want to be unemployed. Unemployment is a serious problem in my country, and I was not trying to be a statistic, and I was not trying to participate in that. The reason why I decided to do an animation business instead of go freelance is because I wanted the ability to create my own original content and expand more than just relying on client work, which feels a little bit more unstable. But because I'm still a startup phase, we are in the growing pains phase. And so we do have to create a reputation for ourselves and start to build up our client base. But it also is a benefit to be a company because then we can create original projects like 3 teaspoons of sugar. And also in terms of funding those projects, side note, you can get them funded as a company. Now, that doesn't mean having a business is better than being freelance. It depends on you as a person. You decide what works for you and what's most important for you and what's most appropriate for your life at the time. That's all I have to say for this podcast. Thank you so much for listening. I hope that you gained something valuable from this, and I'll see you. No, I won't see you because this is audio. I will talk to you guys next time. Bye.